and after he'd pulled the door closed, he heard what sounded like a shoe being thrown as the door clicked shut behind him. Yeah, he really was getting too old for this shit. He pulled out his phone, only to discover he'd turned off the ringer sometime during the night, and his brothers had tried to reach him numerous times. So had his younger sister, Sierra. He narrowed his gaze. Why the hell had everyone been looking for him? He took the elevator down to the first floor and walked through the lobby, across the white marble and out into the Manhattan sunshine before hitting redial and calling his oldest brother, Ethan. When the call went directly to voicemail, he dialed Parker next. "Where the fuck have you been?" his middle sibling all but yelled. "Calm yourself, Switzerland," he said, using the nickname the family had for Parker that had begun during his championship skiing days and stuck because he refused to take sides in family arguments, always tending to remain neutral. "I'm here now. What's going on?" Squinting into the sun, Sebastian hailed the first empty cab he saw, the driver coming to a skidding stop on his side of the street. "Mandy died, Sebastian." He froze, his hand on the taxi door handle. "Say that again." "Mandy died," he said of Ethan's wife. "I've been with E all night, so has Sierra, so get your ass to his place like yesterday." The cab driver honked the horn, letting Sebastian know he'd better climb in the back seat or the man would take off. He opened the door and slid onto the taped-up pleather, his heart heavy and thudding inside his chest. "What happened?" he asked through his thick throat and dry mouth. Everyone loved Ethan's wife Amanda, Mandy for short, who had been an executive at Nighttime Technology. "Buddy, where to?" the cab driver asked impatiently. He gave the address of the apartment building uptown that the company owned, where all the siblings resided. Parker waited for Sebastian to finish before he answered. "Accidental overdose." "What the fuck?" Mandy didn't take drugs, not that he knew of. "It's a long story." Parker sounded exhausted. "Just come home and I'll explain everything." "How's Ethan?" he asked, worried about his older brother, who felt it was his job to look after everyone else. He'd taken on the role of caretaker after their mother passed away when Sebastian had been 15. Only 19 at the time, Ethan had stepped up because, frankly, their father had never been the responsible parent. "About as good as you'd expect," Parker muttered, which meant not good at all. He needed to get to his sibling, but the Manhattan traffic moved at a snail's pace, and the ride seemed to take forever. He closed his eyes throughout the trip uptown and pictured Ethan's wife, a petite brunette with a vibrant personality. Granted, she'd been more subdued lately, her shoulder surgery almost 2 years ago having been hard on her, physically and mentally, but an accidental overdose? It didn't compute. The cab finally came to a stop. He shoved his credit card into the slot and completed the transaction, climbed out of the car and made his way past the doorman, into the building and up the elevator, another ride that seemed endless. Arriving at Ethan's door, he knocked once and Sierra let him in, wrapping her arms around him, her smaller body shaking as she cried. The Knight siblings were each 2 years apart, and he was close to his 24-year-old baby sister. He walked into the apartment, Sierra holding on to him, and found his brothers in the living room. She stepped away, sniffing as she sank into an oversized chair. From his place on the sofa, Ethan rose to his feet. His brother's dark hair was disheveled, his eyes bloodshot and red. In silence, Sebastian stepped forward and pulled him into a brotherly embrace. "I'm sorry, man," he said at last. "What happened?" Ethan straightened to his full height. "I came home. Thought she was napping, but I couldn't wake her up. I called 911, but it was too late." His voice sounded like gravel, the pain etched in his face raw and real. "Parker." Sebastian gestured to his brother, who was now sitting on the far side of the couch. "Parker said it was an overdose, but I don't understand. Overdose on what?" "Sit," Ethan said, and Sebastian chose a matching chair next to Sierra's. "It was oxy." "What?" He couldn't believe what he was hearing. Ethan shook his head, obviously at a loss.